You're live. Oh, YouTube, if you're watching, it'd be nice if you gave us a countdown on the ready screen when you press the go live button. Anyway, I'm going to sit here for a couple minutes and wait for some people to join in. And let's see, I've got video. I need to check the sound, make sure somebody's on. If somebody would, whomever that is, Groves Russell or Grove S. Russell. I am doing well, thank you. I appreciate that. How's the sound quality on your end? You're the first one to log in here. I'm just wondering if I'm using the microphone on the camera, and I have an external microphone, but I gotta find it. A little loud. Okay. What did I do with that external microphone? I don't know. Hey, Paul, how are you, man? Groves says that it's a little bit audio. How's it? Scott says it's a little loud. Sorry, Groves says really good audio. That was me. Sorry, I had my speakers too high. Okay, all right. I'm also in a basement in a small workshop. I wouldn't say it's echoey in here, and I'm only about 2 feet from the camera. So I'll try to, if it gets too loud, people let me know, and I'll lower my voice a little bit. Project Servitopia. Yeah, I think it will today. Knock on wood. Apparently, there was a lot of weirdness going on yesterday with YouTube. And for those of you who tuned in live for that instead of watching it pre-recorded later, I do apologize. After it kicked me, I went back on again, and it kicked me again. And at that point, it just it wasn't worth. I didn't want to keep aggravating everybody, so I flipped over to Facebook. So if you watched part of it on YouTube, come join the Facebook page, the Tabletop Engineer, and you can catch the later part of it that was done on Facebook Live. And again, I'm trying my best to move totally over to YouTube streaming for these future live craft videos. And let's just hope that YouTube behaves. So, yeah, okay, good. Thank you, Paul. I'm glad to hear it's not so laggy as it was yesterday. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes, give a few more, because it's only 12:29. I said 12:30. So maybe about 12:33, 12:34, we'll get started again. I've got a little extra time today, too. So hope all of you are doing well. Any questions about what I did yesterday, or tell me what you're working on today? Anybody doing any crafts besides me? Let's see, what was I going to tell you? Health-wise, I'm doing great. For those of you who don't know, I was diagnosed in late December with prostate cancer. I've been going through some testing and treatments for the first part of this year. I've had to cut back on my videos, but I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It's looking like around mid-May to late May, I'll be healthy and back to normal, and back to video making. So hopefully, cross my fingers, everything's going to go right. YouTube is always a hit and miss service. I'll take your word for it. I don't stream on YouTube very much, so this will be like my third or fourth stream there. So over time, we'll see if I can, be lucky and not have too many crashes. But yeah, yesterday was extremely frustrating. But Facebook's the same way. Facebook's hit or miss. Some days I'll go an hour and a half without any problems, and then other times Facebook will kick me for no reason. So it's just it's always frustrating. I will. I did announce on Facebook, so we'll go ahead and get started in just a moment. Can you show your progress of yesterday? Absolutely. Absolutely. And guys, I apologize. I meant to post some photos yesterday on the Tabletop Engineer Facebook page of the current position or the current setup of the Dropship. And my son had a school activity last night, and we didn't get home until really, really late. And I just didn't get a chance to post those photos. So I'll do it again. I'll do it today. But here is the Dropship in its current form, minus the nacelles, which I'm going to attach today. Turn this light off just real quick so you can. The pink foam gives a really bad reflection from the LED lights. I'll turn it back on in a minute, but hopefully will give you a better view of the model. This is the side. This is the front. Okay. Top right there. Back. And I guess bottom. The front view has really beefed up. For those of you who've been tuning in since the start, it started out as a 1-inch wide piece of foam cut in this weird shape, sort of like a shoe. I don't know. And then I just started adding pieces onto it symmetrically. What you add to the left side, you add to the right, and the ship just slowly builds out into this three-dimensional object that looks, like a really mean looking dropship. So I got as far as the nacelles coming off the proc side. I think that's when the video quit, Dauber. I think that's when I crashed. So the only thing I did after I cut the nacelles was I trimmed some chipboard and glued it on both of them, just with a little pattern here, basically to break up the flatness of the foam. And I may still do a little bit more, especially maybe on the sides and the front and the back. They're just not there yet. I did decide that these are going to be mounted in the front about 1.5 inches on the left and right from the main body right here, sort of like that. And from the side, it would look like this. It's a very helicopter look to it. And so, nothing original there. It just worked out that way. I didn't like the look of it in the back like this. I wanted it more forward like that. So I may regret that. After it's all said and done, I may say, darn it, I wish I'd have put it, into the back here. It still would look the same profile-wise like that, but it would just be near the back. And everything is reversed on my screen, so I'm sorry, I'm like going, how did I do it? I guess I should not worry about the screen and just hold it up to the camera and just show you. It'd be like that and like that, okay? Let me turn the light back on. Looks like we've got 10 people, and that's about what we had yesterday. So I think everybody who wants to be here is on here. The outriggers will look good. Good. Hey, Jody. Hey, Eric. Hey, Dauber. Hey, Paul. Groves Russell. Was it Russell Groves? Is that your name? Project Servatopia. Scott Hall. Greetings, everybody. Thanks for joining me again today. And like I said, I should have some more time today. All right, let's get right to it. What I want to do today is I want to attach the nacelles or the outriggers to the main body. And the way I'm going to do that is this piece right here, I'm going to have something attached, comes off and down, and then connects to this. So it'll just sort of hold it there like this. And this is one of those things where, again, I'm riffing here. I'm just making this up as I go. So I have this idea. Let me sketch it for you real quick so you'll know what I'm shooting for today. What I want to go for is this. This is a real crude drawing of the ship, okay? And the nacelles, you're like, show us. Okay, so right, no crude comment. I want an angular shape. I want it to go out, down, and then two. I want two bends, basically. Let me show you. And everything will also be at an angle. So it's going to look like kind of like that. Got it? Now, I could make these pieces out of foam. It will require some beveling to make those, to where they come flush smoothly. But I prefer to do that kind of stuff using chipboard. And I started pondering how I would do that. You've got these angles. So I'm going to put the camera onto the table and I'll narrate. You are building the lander from Aliens sometimes. Oh, you're talking about the dropship from Aliens? Yeah, I love the way those things like folded out and had the missiles. Very cool ship. All right, so I have a plain piece of chipboard here. I'm going to move the camera down so you can watch what I'm doing here. All right, so my thinking is there's two ways you could do this. I could I could cut a piece like that and then make shallow cuts in it so that these pieces are connected but they bend, okay? And that would make this outer shape. Or I could actually start with drawing a piece like that, cut that piece out, okay? I'm going to shade it so you can see it a little better. Cut that piece out, and this is looking at it from the side. And then determine the width of these legs and cut a piece of chipboard to follow the contour. I think that's I think that's the better way to do this. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to use my straight edge and make a couple really quick sketches to show you. I'm going to make it, cut it out, and then hold it for you so you can see it from the front. It won't have any weight to it or thickness, but it'll at least look like it's meant to touch the nacelle. So the first thing I'm going to do is, and these there we go, trying to line it up with this edge over here so I can make my cuts. All right, so I am going to what we want to do is it's got to be 3. This will be the long edge, and then it'll go in. Okay, sorry, I'm just visualizing the first drawing here. I don't want them to be a full inch, so I'm going to use my ruler here and do the 1/2 inch. All right, so we'll go like that. So this will be the long piece, and then I need an angle. So I'll come at the 1 mark here, draw another line. And then the next one, I'll do another 1/2 inch, draw another line. Okay, so there will be my 3 thicknesses where the turns will happen. So this piece will come, and then a turn, and then a turn. And I want this turn to be at a certain angle. And if I had to look at this right, let's go, so that's a 45. That's too shallow. So let's go, if it came off, 45. No, that's too shallow for 45. 45 is more like that. So 35 maybe, and then it's got to make a total of 90 degrees. So if that goes 35, then this will have to go 55. Wow, that's a steep one. 90 divided by 2 would be 45. So 245 degrees would work. The way you do that is you line this up with the 1 inch on the grid here, and I can draw a line from one side to the other just so I have something visually to shoot for. So let's just draw a line here, okay? And then go down another inch and draw a line there, and that will allow me to draw a 45. So I'll draw from that corner to make a 43 turn. I may be overcomplicating this, to be quite honest with you. This needs to be a 1/2 inch, so I'll draw from the 1/2 there. I'm just eyeballing that one because that one doesn't have to be exact. All right, and then 90 degrees this way. So thankfully I can just extend this, and I'm going to cut this out oversized, and then I'll have to trim it down to the length I want. All right, so 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. All right, if that's not making any sense to you, let me show you. All right, I will go a little shallower here. That cut does not look good. All right, so go. All right, I'm going to go a little shallow on this one. Probably could have freehanded this, but that's all right. I'll check your comments in just 1 second, guys. Now I'll have to make 3 more copies of this to get the front and the back arm. All right, so it goes down. So I will cut it, just eyeballing it here. All right, so let's see. Did I cut it out? Nope, I forgot here. Laptop's on the way. All right, right there. All right, so there's the piece. All right. Now, is it truly 90? That's the question. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty good. Not too bad. All right. There's the piece, obviously not cut to length. The idea is that I'll need to trim this piece and this piece to get that arm or leg that I want there. I'm going to put this here. Actually, let me take this piece off so you can get a color difference, and I'll look at the, all right, so put this here like this, right? This will, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this or not. Kind of, you can sort of see it. And then like that. Automatically tell that this is going to have to be cut way far. Let me go ahead and do that. Where's my scissors? So this, don't want to cut too much. All right, so like that may still be too far out. I don't want too much of this. I'm gonna cut this short. So this will go here. That will go there, and definitely way too much space. It's going to have to be cut way back. All right, so that's too far, too high. I apologize, guys. Let me do this. I'm going to flip the camera and check your comments real quick. You will have to try building land. Okay, why don't you print those thin parts with high infill? Paul, I could, and I probably would if I was doing this another way, but let me explain. My goal with this live craft was take the Dropship out of nothing but foam and chipboard. I was going to use some wood dowels for the outriggers, but I want to see if I can do this with just foam and chipboard, which is basically something that everybody should have access to. The thickness may not be the same. You could use cereal box cardboard or whatever you have, but the idea was to make it out of as few materials as possible, so that everyone could duplicate this. If I start using my 3D printer, if I took a poll right now, I bet half of you don't have a 3D printer, or maybe I'm unlucky. Maybe I just got the fortunate few that all of you have a 3D printer, but I can't guarantee that everybody's going to have access to that. So I don't want to go making something that others would not have access to. So let me hold this up here for you real quick. So here is the leg that needs to be trimmed back. Okay, way back, and then of course, it'll glue onto the nacelle. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep the camera up. I'm just going to start making trims until I'm happy with. Actually, you know what? I may be able to do this with you guys looking down. I'm going to use my 321 cubes here, these, to hold this in place. All right, there we go. And then, oh yeah, definitely gonna have to cut that back. Let's go there. I'll set this down here where I want it. And if I did that, it's gonna sit way out. I want the nacelles sort of closer into the body. So definitely, wow, really gonna have to go close with that. It's the angle that makes the, if I had cut this closer, but that's actually not too bad right there. Let me see what it looks like from the front. You guys see what I'm looking at it from the front. You know what? That's not too bad. That is not bad at all. So what I've got to do now is I've got to get the height adjusted. I want the nacelles resting below. That's actually not too bad either. All right, I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to trim this just a hair, and then this is going to be my masterpiece, the template piece, the masterpiece, and I'm going to cut. I've got to cut 3 more of these. And what's really nice about the YouTube chat is it actually scrolls up. The Facebook one does not do that. I actually have to manually scroll it. So this is kind of nice. I can see who's posting. The Dauber says it looks good from above. Okay, I hope so. Hey, Devin, how are you? Devin's one of my contributors. He had some photos in the latest Bexham's Bazaar magazine. in the Show Us Your Crafts. He painted up a bunch of Frostgrave stuff that looked awesome. All right, let's see. I need 3 of these, so I'm just going to trace them out. You may not be, I hope you're understanding what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually follow the contours of this piece once I'm all done. And this may actually, what's funny is sometimes I do it one way and I find out that there would have been an easier way to do it. I may be doing it the hard way. Maybe I should have done the basic. I should have made them maybe like I did those of you who were with me the other day. I made this thing that got scrapped. This was going to be what the dropship landed and dropped, but I scrapped it. But if you remember how I made this, I could have probably made these pieces like this, but I'm doing it a little differently, just basically to see if it's any easier or harder. I often do things the roundabout way. Is that the right way to say it? I don't necessarily do them the smart way, but sometimes I find that I've done something and I discover a new method for creating something. So this won't be too bad. All right, so I'm just basically trimming these down to size to match that original. Cutting these inner sides is the pain. I should probably use a ruler. I mean, a cutter for that. All right, 2, and they're definitely not the same size. So I may trace a 4th one. Normally, you know, when you trace something, you add thickness to it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and make a 4th one here. And that way they'll all have if I cut them on the line, they'll have that same thickness added to it. There we go. All right. I hate you so much. I'm seriously envious of your skill. David, seriously, dude, don't be. I am making this up as I go, okay? I make no promises that any of this is going to look good when it's done. One of the things I will tell you that I have done in the past, I studied engineering. I also studied English. I have 2 degrees, but the English degree was my more valuable degree, in my opinion, because it's what my career got built on. I was a technical writer for many years. But during engineering school, there were many projects where we had to make a physical object, like a model of it. And this was back in the late 90s or mid 90s. We didn't have 3D printers in the engineering school, and we didn't have, most of us didn't have access to materials like steel and aluminum. It was just too expensive. So we typically worked with cardboard and paper. And there were, and I dig these books up because I know I've got them somewhere in a box somewhere. I have books on paper. I actually have a book called Paper Engineering. I think that's the title of it. And it's basically just techniques for building with cardboard paper. And I can't say that that's all the book is. I think there may be some math involved and stuff like that. But one thing I've learned is with cardboard and chipboard, like I'm using here, if you start making, you just start figuring things out. This is not, I mean, you can see I'm only making this little leg piece. It's nothing that I would call advanced. You can do it, okay? I want you guys to understand that what you're seeing me do here, it's not like I was born with these skills. I just started doing it, and you just sort of get to a point where it's become easier, or at least you bring your mistakes. Let me put it that way. And again, I've mentioned this in just about every video. I'm eyeballing a lot of stuff here. This stuff does not have to be exact. If I wanted this dropship to be like a movie quality prop, I would be
cutting and measuring using like really fine, a ruler that has like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen these. These are called Incra rulers. This one is this one's just standard imperial, and I have one upstairs that's metric, and it goes down to 1/32 of an inch, and it uses these really small holes. And I use these. This is an engineering thing. If you have a pencil, like a mechanical pencil with a very small lead, you can put it in these holes, and using like a straight edge. Let me show you. I'm getting way off topic here, but let's say you need a very accurate line to 1/32 of an inch, right? You would use a straight edge like this. You put this ruler up against it like this, all right? And it even has, I don't have it with me, I believe. These rulers, you can see there's holes here. These rulers come with metal clamps that clamp here, and they're designed to follow, like you're seeing a table saw that has the T-slot in it, and if that doesn't make sense to you, just imagine that, you've got this thick aluminum edge here. It's just something that would slide along this without coming off. So what you do is you put your pencil in the hole, right? And as you slide it, it makes this very thin but very accurate cutting line. And like I said, it goes down to 1/32 of an inch. And very, very useful for doing. I only mention this because I'm not doing that in this project. So you guys are, if I line these up right here, these 4 pieces, they are not going to be exact copies of each other. I guarantee it. Even though I made them all from a trace of one item, I mean, well, that one's not even the original. That's the original. This is the copy. Okay, there we go. So if I turn them sideways, I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's a little edge right there that's not exact. Some of this is not exactly. They're close enough that it will be fine and should work out. All right, so let's get moving on the legs again. So I've got four of these. 2 of them will each make a wing. Now, how do I do this? All right, all I need to know is the distance from that point to that point. So watch. I'll even use the here since it's well, you know what? It's not so handy because my eyes are glasses. I can't read these numbers. Hang on. Let me use my cutter here. All right, so let's just go. This is to 1/8 of an inch. Hopefully this will be good enough. That is from the, wow, look at that. It's 1 3/8 inches. This edge right there is 1 3/8, okay? I want you to, Grover says, I use them in my woodworking. That's where you're supposed to use them. They're really woodworking tools, but I find them very useful in a lot of other things. Mike says, hey, Jim, won't be here long. I've got PT today, physical therapy. I'm probably have to watch more later. Okay, no problem, Mike. I'm glad you got to check in. And YouTube seems to be working today, so hopefully you'll get to watch the rest of this later. But I hope PT goes well. Good luck to you, brother. So here's what I'm going to do. I said it was 1. So I'm this piece. And I go through chipboard. I create a lot of scrap, but I buy it in large quantities, so it doesn't matter. It will all get used at some point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip 1 3/8 inch wide. Okay. And here, 1 3/8. All right. I am going to cut this strip. And you're saying, why 1 3/8? Well, I'm going to show you. We're going to, in the middle of those legs, let's call them legs, okay? They're the legs that will hold to the body and to the cell. We're going to start in the middle of the legs and work outward so that we, okay. So it's 1 and, it's 1 and, what did I say? 1 3/8 this way. So I could do it like this, but I want the thickness of the leg to be the same as the leg. And how do I explain that? I think if this is thin, I just know that visually I try to always make the longest section. If anything I have that is angled, like this piece has got angles, I typically find it's best to start take the longest length and make that your width, okay? And then you have to trim it back to size. So I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to mark a line at, I'm just going to pick somewhere near the middle. All right, so let's do this. Let's square this up, and I'm going to make a line here and here. And those lines are on my grid on my work table, okay? So what I do is I'm going to measure from that line 1 3/8 to the left. 1 3/8. And then I got to go up here and do it. Oops. All right. 1 and 1 2 3/8. There we go. Now it's going to move, and that's okay. I haven't secured it to these two pieces yet. Let me flip it around here. Glue another piece in. You want to make sure it's oriented the same, but not this way, okay? Got to make sure it matches. Let's put a bead on there. Put it up in here. Make sure it's